Okay, so this is my environment for the two environment projects that we did. This first one is my app.js for the Rubik's Cube, and basically what I did here was I ended up creating a different face for every side of the cube, because when I created like a red cube, for instance, I realized that when you put it in a certain place, if the inside is still red, that's just kind of not how Rubik's cubes works. Like they only have the colors on whatever corner or side they are in. So I ended up creating a new box geometry and new box colors for all of these different ones that you could have like a different like red, orange, blue corner or whatever it is. Other than that, all I did was create a third light so that all three sides would be lit up a little bit. And then I tried to make the gamma on this one a little bit more, I guess, like poppier, but it didn't end up working too well. So I tried to do it on environment 2, as you'll see in a second. And even that didn't work so well. And I feel like it's probably because I'm missing a backdrop. I did see somebody's Rubik's Cube in which they had a nice like brown backdrop and some shadows, and it kind of made the colors pop a little bit. But as you'll see in a second, mine's just kind of a cube floating in the sky. And then my second environment is my cityscape, which is here. And what I did here was essentially I had tall buildings and short buildings. So I hard coded in the locations for these buildings in terms of short and tall. And then for each one of those, I called either create short or create tall, giving it these custom defined geometries in terms of what makes a short building, what makes a tall building, and their colors. And then for each one of these buildings, when they get created, they then create their own window cubes. So for them, like they're short window cubes, and essentially that just means that they only go up to a certain amount of geometry. I did do this in two loops, even though I know I could have condensed it back into one, because I was trying to create sort of like different window counters, but it ended up not being as aesthetically pleasing when I did it truly randomly. So I ended up going back to like these two modulus for the tall and short windows. It's pretty much the same thing for the tall and short. And then the other thing that I did was I tried to create a shadow map. I'm not 100% pleased with how the shadow turned out. I am still tinkering with it a little bit, and hopefully maybe by the time I turn again, I'll get it. But it's just kind of narrow and not super great. But in terms of running it, I ended up using a Visual Studio Code extension called Live Server, which I think does the exact same thing that the WebStorm server does, but the difference is I basically get instant response out of it. So I click this Go Live button down here, and this is something I found during my web programming class. And it still gives me a different port, but 5500. And just to show that this is running, here's my file, cubes 1, and cubes 2. Here's my city. Here's my city. And so if I go to environment 1, here's my app.html. This is my Rubik's Cube. And you can see that the inside of every cube is white, no matter if it's a corner or any other piece. So even if I scrambled this up, it would still remain true to how it should be, because I mean the inside of the cube right here shouldn't be blue or yellow. It's supposed to be white or black. I had to Google that a few too many times. And then here is my second environment, which is my cityscape. I tried to go for sort of like a moon casting a shadow. Now that I'm making this, it looks like it's off by a little bit, but I did a blue backside of here to kind of light it up a little bit so it shows. And then where the moon should be shining is more of a vibrant cityscape. And that's about it.